Okay, I'm back. This is part two. It might even turn out to be a three-part series. So I was talking about the bioflavonoids and the importance of bioflavonoids in this whole process. So what we want to do is boost our immune systems. So ester C is the way to go, okay, according to the protocol, and it makes sense. Everything I'm going to tell you today, to me, makes sense. I don't know if I premised in the first video, but again, check with your doctor before you start doing any of this stuff, okay? Because I don't have a license to prescribe. I'm just sharing the information that I've acquired through my own research and the benefits I've achieved. The second thing you're going to need is sea salt, right here, SEASALT. You can get this from, I got this at Vitamin Shop. This whole therapy is costing me like $20 a month, and I'm getting results like you wouldn't believe. I mean, look at me in this video. I don't know if I look healthy to you or not, but I'll tell you, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm getting out and I'm doing a lot. But this contains lots of minerals. It's really in the literature that science believes that we're salt deficient to begin with. Ages and ages ago, people were consuming 20 grams of salt per day, and that was the norm. As time has gone by, people have been discouraged from salt because of a few diseases out there, and certainly if you have hypertension or kidney problems, congestive heart failure, then you do need to watch and limit your salt intake, and this may not be the protocol for you. So that's why it's very important to check with your doctor and get your electrolytes checked. Once a week in the beginning. Your doctor should have no problem with this, and it's important. Personally, my electrolytes have been fine. I posted them up on the site. My sodium's fine, my potassium's fine, chloride, everything is within normal limits. Anyway, this is Himalayan salt, by the way. It's like kind of pink in color. And like I said, it's full of minerals. It's really good stuff for you. And the other thing you need, which is really not in the protocol, but these are probiotics. I got this from Vitamin Shop, Probiotic 8. 14 billion good bacteria for the GI tract. Hard to believe because I don't even think there's 14 billion specks in there, but I guess maybe there is. Who knows? But this is really, really good. It has acidophilus in it. And you can look that up on your own. And the last thing you need, of course, is water. Water is very important with this protocol, and I'll explain why as I get into it. So let me first just introduce you to a few terms. Tonicity is the first thing I want to talk about. Basically, tonicity is the ability of a solvent to be able to penetrate a membrane, a cell membrane. So the solvent that we're talking about is going to be salt and again water. These are both called solutes, and so there's different states that the body is going to be in, and it's all based on two things. One is pH, which simply means the power of hydrogen. On the low end of pH, you have an acidic state. If you're in the middle, you're what's considered to be neutral or buffered, and on the high side you'll be in an alkaline state. Well, when you're doing the Salt-C protocol, you're putting your body into an alkaline state, which it's not used to being in. So there is a small adjustment probably in the beginning, and many of you may experience herxing. And I want to talk about herxing for a second because this is important. A lot of people are herxing out there, and my take on herxing is that if you're on antibiotics and you're not on a fluoroquinolone and you're herxing, it's because the drug is building up on itself. And I want to talk to you about half-lives. And when I say building up on itself, I mean that it can't pass through the liver quick enough, and the bile ducts shut down, and you become toxic. And I don't care what it is that you're toxic from, whether it's metal poisoning or antibiotics or what have you. If you build up toxins in your body, you are going to experience neurological problems. Bottom line. So you got to be careful. with this stuff and read it. The research clearly states these fluoroquinolines are necessary to bust up this biofilm. So if you're taking antibiotics and it's not a fluoroquinolone, I don't see how you're going to kill this stuff off, honestly. That's just my perspective. The salt is completely different because it puts your body in an alkaline state. It's also known as, now remember I said isotonic. Isotonic, there's 3 states. You have hypotonic, isotonic, and hypertonic solutions. When you're not on this protocol, you're in an isotonic state, which simply means water can pass through the membrane and out of the cells. And when you're in a hypertonic state, which is what the salt causes, basically what's happening is, here's the example. If you put salt on a slug, what happens? It forces the water out by a process known as osmosis, and the slug will shrivel up, and basically you're sucking all the nutrients out as well, and it dies off. And once it dies off, that's it. It's done and over with, and it's time for the die-off to meet the liver and go through the digestive system and out through your stools. So that is basically the theory of osmosis. It's basically you're taking fluids from a higher concentration and pulling them off to a lower concentration, and that's how osmosis works. And it occurs when you overload yourself with the salt. So anyway, the salt sea. I have a few theories I'd like to share with you because I don't follow the protocol exactly, but it's worth mentioning, I think. I want to talk about Mepron. Mepron is one of the drugs they use to treat babesia. Mepron has a half-life of about 3 days, give or take a day. So say 2 days. If you take Mepron, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, say 1,000 milligrams, okay? Well, in 2 days, half of it is gone, which means you still have 500 milligrams left in you. So on day 2, if you took another 1,000 milligrams, you would still have 500 milligrams left in you for a total of 1,500 milligrams. And if you continue this pattern, the drug will continue to build on itself. Now on the other end, you're eliminating part of the drug too. So at some point the drug begins to plateau. But this is why people experience terrible herxing days after they take the drug, because it's building on itself. And it's very important to understand about half-lives. Tylenol is another example. It only has a half-life of 2 to 4 hours, but it has a peak plasma levels start within 30 minutes of the drug. So peak plasma levels is another thing I won't get into, but the half-life is important, and that's why they say don't take it except every 4 hours or every 4 to 6 hours as needed, and don't exceed this amount, in a 24-hour period, because you have to give the body a chance to eliminate the accumulated effect. I only have a minute left, so I'm going to come up with a part 3 of this video. I'm sorry, but this is all necessary stuff for you guys to understand. That's the problem with Mepron. And people on day 3 or 4, they start getting really, really sick. It's not from die-off, it's from the toxin buildup. Bile ducts shutting down, the liver's not performing like it should, and anytime that happens, you get neurological problems. And the same thing can happen with salt, and I'm going to tell you about that in the next video. So rather than get into that here, I just want to make one thing clear. I am not in this to boast myself and become famous. Again, I stated my agendas at the beginning of my video, and I will stick to that. So anyway, part 3 is coming up. I'll see you in a minute.